Guys, good morning. Yesterday, whatever Kamuro Kaka driving school akatuli maso. So yesterday I was looking at these guys driving school, and I think about four vehicles that car driving school there. They have about 4 vehicles, and they have capital of about 50 million shillings. Yeah, 50 moroka you have not yet done the licenses, you have not done I did the math for those guys, and somehow, knowing how much we have been paying for driving school services, math does not make sense to me. You get. But good morning, Hashim, Uyombia Mark, Wabuyi Nelson, Sereko Starch, Travel Life Vlog, Gilbert Abanya, Louis, Chamba de Hannington, Jonathan Ocheng. That driving school there. So I don't know how they do the math, looking at the fact that a millionaire is but anyway, today's topic is, how did you make out your hustle? Wategera otya nti kati kino guno omulimu eno business gye njagala okukola? Like, how did you figure that out? How were you able to figure that out? Or if you have a job and you created a side hustle, how did you figure out that that's something that you want to do and not another thing? Because that's something that most people struggle with all their life. Natamanya, ddala, some people struggle until they die. They never really discover what they were meant to do. They never discover their calling. They never discover that one thing that is going to make their life better. How did you guys discover? Walinga okoze ebintu bingi ya? Walinga okoze ebintu ebiwerako. How did it come to your mind? Nogamba omanyi nze Arthur njagala kukola katemba oba njagala kukola marketing. So how did it come to you as an individual, gwejoli, so that you can help another person also figure out how to decide on their hustle, how to decide on their job, how to decide on what they want to do with their lives? It's important. Paul Seva VIP, good morning. Morad K Momo VIP, good morning. I hope you guys slept well. I listened to the sound from yesterday, so I'm working without the microphones today. I want to see the difference in the sound. Sereko Starch, chechiriwo mani. Ewako yagala kudda waka, koma we waka. But of course, you need to understand, today morning I was talking to my son. So Urban had sports day today, and they forgot to carry his sportswear. There is a time I went to pick him from school, and they needed to do football in the evening, and I went late, so I could not take him to the pitch, and he cried. That day I let it go. So today morning, they forgot to carry his sportswear. It was supposed to come in the bag, and he was crying, and I told him, no, I cannot have this. You're a boy. You cannot be crying about things that will work out eventually. If you're not going to go for sports day this week, you'll go for sports day next week. You get it will work out. I don't want to see you crying again. You get. So I had to play tough with him, and he stopped crying immediately. I think it's important that kids understand from a young age that, you know what, sometimes things will not work out, and other times they will work out. And when they don't work out, you don't sulk about it. You just understand that this time just did not work out. Next time it will work out. You get, and kids don't know the difference. So I tried to drum sense into his head, and I'm thinking I'm just going to deny him something that he really wants, and see if he cries or not. You get, he looked like he was toughened up by my kind tough words, my fatherly words to him. He looked to be tougher, so I hope he's tough in the evening. I'm going to try to deny him something that he really wants. Mikel Yuji, good morning. So guys, today I wanted us to explore, for you guys that have figured out what you want to do with your lives. There are people that never discover what they want to do with their lives. Banji nyonga ye osobola okumubuuza kiki oyagala okukola mu bulamu, oba kiggwe kyolaba ekiyinza okukola ekiyinza okuyambako okutuukiriza by'oyagala naye nga tamanyi. There are so many of those guys. So for you guys that have figured out what you want to do with your lives, the main hustle, the job, the business, how did you figure out that this is something that I want to do, or this is something that I should be doing? Because of course the reasons are what we want also for you to share with us. How did you figure it out? I think every time someone discovers what they were actually meant to do, yes, the struggle is there, but the struggle is not as much as if they were doing something that wasn't meant for them. Chibanga, being in a relationship where you're not loved, or you say, and then someone being in a relationship where they are loved. A person that is in a relationship where they are loved, things work themselves out very easily. But a person who is in a relationship where they are not loved, ebintu bigana bitabuka, embeera egaana, okitegeera, olwana nayo naye nga okugize neekuzeeri, and that's something that happens. You get. So how did you discover that, you know what, this is something I want to do? For example, me as Nzenga Arthur, in primary I wasn't really active mukatemba. When I was in primary I was a shy boy, but then I joined secondary school, and immediately in senior 1 I started, and then senior 2 it went on better, senior 3, then senior 3 I was really popular because of what we did, and senior 4 I was actually very popular mukatemba kusomero, and then I think I started knowing that this is what I want to do, and at that time I did not know that in my family there were people that actually did this. Abali popular, or what we want to call successful. And so during my vacation, and there were not so many options for me. I wasn't a very good person with sciences, I wasn't good with geography, I wasn't good with history, commerce I was a bit okay, and that's business, that's something that you discover, and that's something that applies in literally everything you do. So in my senior 4 vacation, I think I got into a scuffle with my grandmother. She wanted me to do something else, and I told her, you know what, and then she took me to Baka in Drama Actors, and it was tough. I was 16 and I would walk from Mutundwe to Pride Theatre every day and back. And sometimes I would walk back home at midnight. That was tough. But I wanted to do it. And I remember I joined Baka Imbira in the vacation, senior 4 vac. And by the time the vacation was getting concluded, I had started my own group because we were not getting paid and I did not like it. So I said, why don't I start something where we can pay ourselves? So I started something and we were creating a play on HIV. You know, HIV plays on HIV were very popular then. And yeah, and then I started fundraising. I went and talked to the gentleman that owns Bukola Chemical Industries. He was my own neighbor there. Nampa yampe mitwaro etano, I think. And then there is a lady I went to, Auntie Betty, Nampa ye, and then I had funding to start off the group. But unfortunately, we ran out of money and we had to close down. And that's when I went for the audition that took me around the world. And then I started moving. And I think that's how I discovered that, you know what, I think this is the thing that I want to do, because I started getting money out of it when I was still young, 17 years old, and then I was moving all around the globe. And yeah, so when I came back, then I went and Somesa S5, S6, and like that. And then when I was joining MOOC, I knew that I wanted to either do drama as a course or I wasn't going to university. Which take it. For starters, I had seen that the people that were in the industry that I wanted to be in were not paying the people they worked with, and I was one of those people. So I wanted, like, I moved around Europe. I saw how people were getting paid, and I think that was, for me, that was the trigger. I wanted to come back home and start something that actually pays people for the work they do, including myself, of course. And then I don't think I wanted to do anything else. I don't think I wanted to do engineering. I don't think I wanted... You see all those dreams that people have. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I don't think I wanted to be any of those things. And by default, what we do needs marketing, and I think that's how marketing came into the picture. So when I went to MOOC, I wanted to concentrate on arts marketing, but that wasn't there. So I kept doing it, and I kept reading books on marketing until I realized that, you know what, the books don't give you everything. So I needed to go and study marketing. That's how I went to study marketing for postgraduate, which again. So I think, and for me, drama, for me to decide to be a drama artist, it did not come because I needed to survive. I think I just wanted to do it. I love the feeling of doing stuff that not everyone can do and seeing them happen. Well, I think I got paid. I got paid and I discovered that I wanted to do this thing. It satisfies me to make things, to create plays, to create films. But the fact that I can actually get paid to do that, that's something else. And the fact that I can change your life, you know, we change lives in 2 ways. One, we change lives by giving you a film that teaches you, but we also change lives by giving people jobs. And yeah, that keeps me going. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I never felt like, you know what, I need to go and look for a job and sit in an office, and yeah, it never really sat properly with me. I think when you discover the thing that you love, when you discover the thing that you want to do for your life, you don't feel the hustle, you don't feel the struggle, you don't feel the hard times. Okay, they are there, but they don't take you time. And like I've told my son today morning, tomorrow will be better. It's just like that. Tomorrow will be better. So guys, how did you discover that the hustle you're doing right now is what you wanted to do? How did you discover that the business you're doing right now is what you want to do? How did you discover that the job you're doing right now is what you wanted to do. And were you right? Were you right? Because that's something that we have to discover, and that's probably something that the new curriculum in Uganda is doing. Yeah, they're letting kids do stuff. Like if you have ever wanted to be an engineer, they will let you do some bit of engineering in secondary and primary school. If you have ever wanted to be a writer, they'll let you do some writing while you're in school, so that you actually discover that can I actually duet yi eri ku UBB ojirabye duet. Duet is one car that and yesterday I met one of the artists, one of the prominent artists in the country, and he's driving a Nissan Terrano, and I laughed. I felt terrible afterwards, but I laughed. Have you ever laughed and you laugh and laugh? Like I did not know that someone would go and buy a Terrano, but he was driving a Terrano, and we were talking, and like he never mentioned it, that you know what, Arthur Mvuga Terrano. Of course, why would he mention it? And then he parked it far away from where we were talking from. So as I was driving out of the parking, I found him, and it was a Terrano. And the first glimpse of him seated in the Terrano, I laughed. I feel bad. I still feel bad that I laughed about it, but I laughed. Like, okay, so how could someone do something like this? Like, there are cars that we don't buy. Kalifa bamanye ebyemmoroka kaliwe emmoroka zetutasaamu yadde ekikumi kyaffe nga tisitesendo zikozesa business nezizaala n'ogula endala. So I laughed at him. He was driving a Nissan Terrano, and when I reached him nembuzabuzaamu nemugamba naye ukikola otya nangamba eno ya diesel tenywa. Man, the Nissan Terrano moroka yabagagga era network akyeta tukola. So guys, we are talking about how did you discover that this job that I'm doing now is what you wanted. How did you figure out that that's what you wanted to do? How did you discover that the business you're doing now is what you needed to do? Viola Namiro, how are you? Nakate Christine, how are you? Nserekagame figured out that I'm good with the events planning and strategy, but I need some financial aid to help me output more the best in me. I have worked with prominent big names in our events industry, and I have learned that discipline, commitment, professionalism, and consistency, and I network acheta tukola. Asiku Keitha Gamba, I realized I don't want to be employed, so I'm saving up to start farming as a business because I love the countryside. You love the countryside, you don't want to be employed. So what do you do in the countryside? It's farming. For truthful at who we are, we must look into the Bible. We are told to use God's word as a mirror to truly understand ourselves, how we are doing, and where we need to grow. Kamukaba Godwin, explain a little bit more. It's like you're speaking cryptic. You explain a little bit more. The Bible needs to be yogambi. So kotunyonyola byowandise bitegeeza in the layman's language. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Triple M Bashiri ogambo te muganda wange. Semanda Raymond, good morning. Today we are talking about how did you discover that what you're doing is what you want to do for the rest of your life, or it's what you want to live doing. Because you know how we have been talking that life is too short. For me, because life is too short, I don't want to do anything I don't want to do. If I don't want to do something, I don't do it. That's just how I've made life for myself. Kyesagala kukola sijja kukikola. Tekitegeeza nti kyenjagala okukola kigenda kuba kyangu. It's definitely going to be hard, but kyesagala kukola sijja kukikola. Kati walona ebintu ebimu nga weesanga wali agadde okukikola naye nga kyakuyitako. Okitegeera. Like there are people nga ekintu kyakuyitako. Like if you're going to be getting a job, for example, at this time, yeah, ogenda kuba ebiseera ebisinga, like people that have not been employed before, like Keith has said, if you have not been employed before, chances are high that if you go to get employed, you start at an entry level job, And entry level jobs work very well for people that are in their early 20s. Can you imagine starting at entry level in your late 30s? Oyinza n'okwetuga okitegeera entry level baba bakuvuma baba bakuchoronga. The way you know Ugandans how they be n'okusasula baba tebasasula ebiseera ebimu. Kati start at entry level. Kati there are things that probably people need to discover when they are still young. If you're the kind of person that wants to be employed, then start by volunteering when you're still young until you get to your desired job. Kaka Subaru Teresa mukarabye kako. That's a practice, by the way.